You've been studying, watching videos, drilling questions, maybe even reading Reddit threads at 1 a.m., but your score still isn't going up. It's frustrating, right? You're not sure if you're doing something wrong or if the LSAT just isn't your kind of test. I've seen this over and over because I've been helping people crush the LSAT since 2005, and the truth is, most students hit a wall because their approach is completely backward. Most people think the key to a high LSAT score is studying more. More hours, more questions, more books. But that's not it. The key is studying the right way. I've seen students go from the 140s to the 170s, not because they suddenly got smarter, but because they stopped wasting time on the wrong things and focused instead on what actually moves the needle. The thing is, you've got to start with a real plan. Random studying does not work. If you sit down and the first thing you ask yourself is, what should I work on today? You've already lost. Top scorers don't guess. They follow a plan built around their strengths and weaknesses. If reading comp is your weak spot, that becomes the priority. If logical reasoning is too slow, you don't just drill, you work on timing and pattern recognition. You build your plan around you, not what some stranger on Reddit said worked for them. And you can't just practice, you've got to actually review. You do a question, you check the answer, maybe you nod and move on, and that's what most people do, and that's why most people don't improve. The real progress comes from figuring out why you got something wrong. You look at what tricked you, what did you miss, and how will you catch it next time. Top scorers spend more time reviewing their mistakes than answering new questions. They don't just do practice tests, they study their practice tests. But you've also got to track your progress because you can't improve what you don't measure. If your accuracy on main point questions goes from 50% to 80%, that's a big win and that's a reason to keep going. But if you don't track it, you're not going to know, and as a result, you'll feel stuck even when you're actually improving. So you've got to track your accuracy, you've got to track your timing, and track how often you fall for trap answers. This is how you make your prep feel real, not just hours that are disappearing into thin air. But you do not need a giant bookshelf full of LSAT books. You don't need 12 different courses, and you don't need to study 5 hours a day every single day. You do need the right materials, and you need to know how to use them. One good set of practice questions, one solid explanation of how to break down arguments, and one reliable, personalized plan you actually stick to. That's it. More isn't better, better is better. And of course, you are not supposed to be studying for the LSAT forever. You're supposed to get in there, learn what you need to learn, and move on. But a lot of programs don't want you to leave. They want you to stay enrolled with them forever, keep paying some monthly subscription, keep watching more videos, but that is not a prep plan, that is a trap. If you're still studying 6 months from now with no clear idea of when you'll actually be ready, something is a bit off. The point here is to finish strong, not to stretch it out. But don't spend all your time looking for the perfect book or some magic trick, because people always ask me, what is the best LSAT book and what is the one secret strategy? The truth is, there isn't one. The best book is the one that helps you understand what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. The best strategy is the one that helps you move faster and more accurately. There's no magic pill, but there is a process. And if you follow that process, you will improve. Of course, you've got to train like it's game day. The LSAT is timed. That means you've got to practice under time. Not casually, not while you're checking your phone, not while you're watching Netflix. When you do full-length sections under test day conditions, you train your brain to stay focused. You manage your pressure, and you keep your pacing tight. That is what builds your confidence, not just doing more questions, but doing them the right way. Now, here's what I mean. If logical reasoning feels too hard, most people just do more logical reasoning. But if you're missing the same kinds of questions over and over, that's not a volume problem, that is a strategy problem. You don't fix a car engine by pouring in more gas. You fix it by popping the hood and seeing what's not working. Same thing with the LSAT. Now, the LSAT isn't just about getting into law school. It's about where you get in and how much you pay. A few more points can make the difference between $150,000 in loans and getting a full ride graduating debt-free. So stop treating this like it's just another test. This is a chance to change your life. Take it seriously, build a real study plan, and stick with it. Because you can get there. And when you do, it won't be because of luck, it'll be because you finally started studying the right way.